And a very good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Cadet First Class Club. A great crowd here with us tonight for another edition of This Week in Army Football. Great to be back with you. We had the bye week last week. Now back in action, Army football. First time in nearly a month. Black Knights on Saturday will take on the Boston College Eagles out of the Atlantic Coast Conference. Army will look for its third victory of the season, look to improve to 2-0 at Michie Stadium. And here to talk about the Eagles, lots to talk about in the next hour. Fresh off the practice field, how about This Week in Army Football? Welcome to the star of our 60-minute show, and that is Jeff Monken. Jeff, welcome. Welcome to This Week in Army Football.
Rich, I'm glad to be back. That means we're playing football this weekend, so excited about it.
Bye week. So we're going to get to it later, but what happens during the bye week for your team and for you personally?
So we try to get some extra work in for the upcoming opponent, which we did, which was great. So normally when we come out of a game, we practice on Sunday. We continued that trend. We take Monday off. We did that as well. We practiced on Tuesday and Thursday of the off week and had a workout and a walkthrough on Wednesday. But then we gave the guys off on Friday and Saturday last weekend, which I think was really, really great for them, mentally, physically, and they came back recharged and ready to go on Sunday night. So we got right back into game week mode. This was our Thursday walkthrough today. We had a big lift and an extended meeting. We'll come back tomorrow and have a practice in the afternoon before we go to the hotel and get ready to kick off on Saturday. So it was nice to get that time last week just to get prepared for Boston College. It also gave us a chance to dive back into some fundamental things, some base offense and defense that when you're preparing each week for a new opponent, you don't always have a chance to go back and rehash.
Second straight opponent from the Atlantic Coast Conference. You were on the road at Syracuse before the bye week. You'll be hosting Boston College. The Eagles coming off a very emotional come-from-behind win for them at home against Virginia. When you look at this BC squad, it looks like they found a quarterback who's made some plays for them the past few weeks, and a team that obviously is on the upswing coming off the conference win at home.
They got a talented team, and that quarterback is outstanding. He's really good on his feet. When people haven't been able to contain him and keep him from running the football, whether it be a scramble or him getting himself just a called run, getting him on the perimeter, he's difficult to defend. So that's going to be a challenge for us. He's got a lot of good skill players on that offense with him. And then defensively, they're very athletic, really impressed with their defensive ends, their corners. They got a lot of guys that can run. And not only did they beat Virginia last weekend, this is a team that took Florida State, who that's a top 5 team in the country. They took them right to the wire and had a chance to win the game. So this is a good football team, and it's going to take a really good effort.
Jeff, a lot of the talk this week, injury-wise, has been a potential return for your fine running back, return man, Tyrell Robinson, who was lost with a knee injury last year. I know we're at Thursday night. There's still a lot of time before this game on Saturday. How close is Tyrell to seeing his first action of the year?
Well, he's certainly as close as he's been since last October, November, and so he's looked good in practice. I anticipate we're going to be able to play him some this Saturday. How much? We'll just see how he does physically, and I don't anticipate he's going to be a guy that's going to be able to play every single snap on offense, but we're going to get him some reps and give him a chance to get back out there, and I'm excited about his return.
How excited are you to be back at Michie Stadium? Going to be a great crowd, upwards of 38,000 fans. It might rain a little bit, but this should be as good of a crowd as you're going to see all year.
Well, hopefully everybody will come out, and I don't know what the weather's going to be on Saturday. There's certainly a prediction, but I hope that people will just ignore that and flock to the stadium. We're excited to be back at home. We've obviously played 4 football games and only been home for one of them, and we're anxious to play in front of the Michie crowd, in front of the Corps cadets, and as you mentioned, a big crowd. So it'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll play well.
Also, Army Sports Hall of Fame weekend, 5 new inductees going into the Hall of Fame, the unveiling and the banquet coming up tomorrow night. One of them, a former Army football coach, and I've gotten to know so many former Army football players, just speaking glowing terms on and off the field, what Tom Cahill meant to them.
That guy's a legend here, and You know, there's books about that guy and the time he spent here as the coach. I know revered as a coach and a leader here. I've had a chance to meet his son, who grew up here at West Point and lived in the house that my family and I live in, and he told a lot of stories about his dad, about living at that house, and so it's just outstanding we're able to honor those folks from our past.
After his coaching career, and here, this is personal to me, Tom Cahill spent several years as an analyst on the Army Radio Network. How about that?
I didn't realize that.
There you go.
I'm sure he did a great job.
I'm sure he did. Also being inducted, John Connors, Gar O'Quinn, Philip Simpson, and Lisa Benitez. Again, a really proud 5-member class for this Army Sports Hall of Fame.
Hopefully they'll let me coach for a while around here, but maybe when I'm all done, you'll let me come on the radio with you, Rich.
I love that. Dean Darling would love that. We would love. That's the third man in the booth. We'd love it. Coach, I'm gonna write that down.
Write it down. Never know.
Jeff Monken on the Army Radio Network. Also,
like I said, I'm not in a hurry to do that.
No, you're just getting started. You said
right.
After the contract extension.
Getting started.
I mean, we're just getting started.
Yep.
We're getting started on This Week in Army Football. Also, big initiative this week, Teal Ribbon Week. Of course, the United States Military Academy's continuing really emphasis on sexual harassment, assault prevention. And Jeff, I know that's something that you really take to heart. Both teams, Army and Boston College, to be wearing teal ribbons on Saturday, and that's just a really little part of it.
There's nothing more important that we can do as a campus community, as a football program, as an institution, as an Army, than to eliminate sexual harassment and sexual assault from our ranks. And it's something we talk about and do workshops on and really try to educate and prepare our players that we're responsible for continuously throughout the year. And I'm really proud that our school, that West Point is really dedicating this game to making people aware of the efforts that we make as an institution and as an Army to eliminate sexual harassment and sexual assault. And so we're proud to wear the teal ribbons. I'm so pleased that Boston College is going to join us in that effort, and that we're going to look up into the stands and see the Corps cadets, and are all going to be wearing their ACT T-shirts, and our players will wear those into the stadium before the game as well.
That'll be very special and a big part of this big game coming up on Saturday, Army and Boston College. Here with you until 8 o'clock on This Week in Army Football. Corey is back on the wireless microphone. Corey, there's going to be a lot of questions, a lot of folks watching in the comments section of Facebook Live, also YouTube Live. A lot of fun tonight.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Rich. And good to see you, Coach.
Good to see you as well.
Yeah, for our Facebook and YouTube watchers, I know you guys have some good questions for the big BC matchup this weekend, so let's get them answered by Coach. Drop them in the comments.
You know what's interesting? There was some online on Twitter, they call it X now, and there was a bunch of Army football trivia questions. And what is Coach Monken's favorite post-game meal? That was a trivia question.
That's easy. We've talked about this so
much on
this show.
They give them softballs. Whoever's coming, it's softballs, which is good. I'm just saying, if you watch the show, it's a great, what would I say? It's a great endorsement of the show, if you're going to ask the question based on that, right? Okay, trivia questions, which we bring to you each and every week. QR code, Ryan Panny is punching up there. We're going to find a winner tonight. You answer them one question each of the first 4 segments. Quickest, get them right, all that stuff. Someone will win 4 tickets to a November home game. Holy Cross. Coastal Carolina. It's 4 tickets to Coastal Carolina.
Senior Day, last home game of the year.
That's really special.
Yep.
I always like Senior Day.
Yep.
Grayson McCall, his 5th Senior Day, right? But, this will be a Coastal. Here's the question. We're celebrating Mikey 100. 100 seasons of football at Mikey Stadium. October of 1924, the first game ever played at Mikey Stadium. Who did Army defeat? Who did Army defeat in the first game ever at Mikey Stadium?
Wow. Okay, I don't know that one, Rich.
They've had their moments in basketball.
Okay.
They've had their moments in basketball.
There's a hint.
Moments.
Yep.
A tough out in basketball historically. So that's your...
All right, good luck, everybody.
That is your question. Who did Army defeat? First game at Mikey Stadium, October of 1924. Coming up next, our special guest, I'll tell you, they don't come much better than this guy. Class of 2012, now a major in the United States Army, won the Campbell Trophy, won the Sullivan Award, former linebacker, won Andrew Rodriguez.
That is awesome. This guy, you could do the rest of the show with that guy. He's had so many experiences and done so much. He's incredible. He does a great job with our team, and I'm sure in the classrooms and everywhere that he's been at West Point. Now an aide to the superintendent, hand-selected. I mean, there's not a more professional guy, not a better guy on campus. So that's good. We're going to have some fun with him up here.
And we mentioned Dean Darling, who calls the games with us. When Andrew was a cadet, Dean looked at him and said, "Are you going to be General Rodriguez one day?" I was like, no, I think
guaranteed.
On his way. But Major Andrew Rodriguez, West Point class of 2012, coming up next on This Week in Army Football. When we come back right here at the Cadet First Class Club on the Army Sports Network from Learfield.
At the United States Military Academy, you're on the team from day one.
A team where people are the #1 priority and winning matters.
A team of scholars, athletes, and leaders, each striving to become all that they can be.
Are you ready to join our team?
West Point, where leaders are made.
The big thing is they're coming into Mikey Stadium, so, our biggest thing is defending our home turf. Just being that defense that shows relentless effort all the time, and just seeing us progress through that for those first 4 games has just been really, really good to see, and I feel like there's more coming.
As a team, defense, we're working on getting better, getting faster, stronger, really just focusing on ourselves. Because if we do that, it'll be tough to stop us.
It's been a lot of fun, like I said before. Just getting out there, being able to play with my teammates, especially as a freshman. I've been learning a lot, growing a lot, so it's been a lot of fun. Right, it's definitely humbling. It's a blessing that I'm in this position to get a chance to play and actually go out there and perform. My teammates have been helping me out a lot, so it made it a lot easier on me.
The team's showing a lot of improvements. Of course, we have 2 games we wish we could get back, but even in those losses, we showed fight all into the end, and that's all you can ask for. And then just the way we've been improving, especially coming off this bye week into this big game on Saturday, it's really promising.
I love playing at Mikey, so I can't wait to see it packed out.
Meet the Chevy ZR2 family. They'll never let you down. With features like DSSV dampers, MT tires, and an off-road performance display. When the going gets tough, it's a family you can count on. Introducing the Silverado, Colorado, and Silverado HD ZR2 family of trucks.
USAA? Yeah. They have awesome rates on coverage for our car, home, and stuff. She has a lot of stuff.
Dad.
A lot of cool stuff, honey. But USAA also has banking, credit cards, and loans. Plus advice and other perks.
Only for emergencies. Thanks, Mom.
And it's all in one spot. So we know she's all set because we've got USAA.
USAA, more than you might think, for the military community and their families.
He may not turn out to be a black belt or play Carnegie Hall.
He'll take the chicken fingers.
But with the money you earn from your PenFed checking and savings accounts,
He's growing up. Look at him.
your goal of supporting his dreams will always be worth it.
I got it.
PenFed's got great rates for everyone.
Army fans, Eisenhower Hall Theater at West Point is back with a full season of entertainment. Enjoy Broadway musicals, plays, family-friendly shows for the little ones, and live concerts. Visit iCall.com. Save up to 20% with a season subscription. Get your tickets now, iCall.com. That's iCall.com. Back on This Week in Army Football. Army and Boston College coming up on Saturday. Noon kick time from Mikey Stadium. Limited tickets remaining. 877-TIX-ARMY, online at ArmyGameDay.com. Time now for our special guest. And when you look at the pantheon of Army football and the major award winners, Jeff, we talk about the 5 national championships. We talk about the Heisman winners, Outland Trophy winners. We're joined by someone who won the, very unique, the Campbell Trophy and the Sullivan Award in the same year. Campbell Trophy, the academic Heisman, and then the Sullivan Award given to the nation's top amateur athlete. An Army football linebacker overcame a devastating injury to play his senior year, was now a major in the United States Army, working for the superintendent here at West Point. How about This Week in Army Football? Welcome, class of 2012, Major Andrew Rodriguez. Andrew, welcome. Welcome to This Week in Army Football.
Thanks, Rich. I appreciate it.
First time in a couple of years. You told me, and Jeff, how about this? When I saw Andrew, people call him A-Rod. When we saw Andrew before, he goes, "Hey, there's no plexiglass dividers." Gave me a flashback to a couple of years ago.
That's been a couple of years, but I'm glad those are gone for sure.
Welcome back, Andrew, and I'll tell you, it means a ton for us that you're on the show here with us. How does it feel to be back at West Point, working with the superintendent? You got so many things, I'm sure, going on for you here.
Yeah, being back is just such a special experience, both from getting an opportunity to see how things have changed a little bit. We got a whole barracks up that wasn't even here, but also just to reconnect with the next generation of cadets, reinvest in really feeling like I can contribute to the football program and helping our football players develop across all the pillars, and then have an opportunity to just touch the magic again, I would say, of this institution.
Jeff, for you, now you were a head coach at another Division I FBS institution when Andrew won the Campbell and the Sullivan, and obviously being removed, not at Army, not yet at Army, what did you think of what he was able to do and the respect and honor that he was able to bring to those awards?
It was incredible, and of course, so I knew Coach Ellerson very well, having worked with him at the University of Hawaii, and was following him as he was going through his tenure here at Army, and I saw the picture of Andrew and Coach Ellerson and all the folks in the tuxedos down in New York City. It was awesome, and to read his story and to see what he accomplished here, not just as a football player, but as an athlete, as a cadet, really incredible. So what a great career.
Andrew, take us back to that year, that 2011 year. So you have this promising career, right? You have the injury in 2010, cost you the year, the back injury, able to come back, have a great year in 2011. Take me through the process of being nominated for those awards, what it was like, going through the process, and then being at the National Football Foundation banquet, winning the Campbell, and then, of course, the following spring, being awarded the Sullivan Award.
Yeah, it was pretty surreal. I say, first off, I didn't know if I'd get a chance to play again, but we have such a great athletic staff here, still here. Tim Kelly does an incredible job with our players and our athletes overall, making sure that they are, ready to play and come back from any injury. And I had that support to be able to play, and I felt very fortunate to be able to go back on the field with my teammates. I remember when they told me, okay, you're a finalist, okay, you're gonna head down to the banquet, and I said, no, we got Navy coming up, I won't be attending. And they said, no, you have to go, you won, which I thought was pretty wild. So that was surreal. I remember the night we went down there, Eddie George was getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, who was one of the players I idolized growing up. So it was a special time for me. And then it was just cool to have Army win the trophy, because I felt like it had been overdue for a while based on the level of play and the quality and caliber of the players and the people that we bring through here. So it was an honor to be recognized, and I think to have the program recognized, and the brotherhood and all that means.
Andrew, take me back to the decision to attend West Point, because there's always a unique story for everyone. And obviously you coming from a family, a military family, your father, a general. in the Army. How did it, from the football standpoint, from the leadership standpoint, the future officer standpoint, how did it all come together for you?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's a question I think a lot of young people grapple with. What are you going to do when you look at it, especially coming to Army? You know, you're not just committing to 4 years, but you're committing to the 5 years after that. But when I came on my visits and I compared that to the other places I was looking at, I really felt like, both from an energy, but from just the quality of the people that I was meeting when I was up here, those were the kind of people that inspired me to come here and to choose this life, and that I felt like I wanted to surround myself with people like that. And I think that continues to be the case as we look out, we see Tommy Morgan out here in the crowd, class of 83, Army football player, and the generations of people that go before you and then continue to invest back in you, I think is a tremendous testament to this program.
And Jeff, you've used Andrew over the years as someone for your players to look up to, emulate, and see what he accomplished.
Well, no question. Anybody that comes through this program and stands out and succeeds at a level beyond their peers is a great role model for our players, because so many people that come here are already coming from leadership positions in their communities, in their schools. They've got great academic credentials. They're talented at what they do, football players or basketball players or whatever it may be. They've got talents beyond their peers at home. And when you get here, there's a competitive cauldron at West Point, a lot of high-achieving people. When somebody stands out from others at West Point, it's pretty special.
Now, Andrew, tell us about your role here at West Point in your time here working as a major.
Yeah, absolutely. So I had the opportunity to go to graduate school after I was a company commander in the Army, and then come back here. I taught mechanical engineering in the Department of Civil Mechanical Engineering, and then I did that for 2 years, and this past year I've since moved over to be the aide to the superintendent, which has really been a phenomenal experience. Get to learn, see everything that goes on across the academy, and really open my eyes to all the things that we offer here, and how we spend our resources to try and get the cadets the best opportunities that they can have.
How closely are you connected with the football team in your time here at West Point?
So that has been a real honor for me. Since I've arrived back, been able to serve as an officer representative. I knew the people who were officer representatives when I was a player really influenced me a lot in the choices that I made later in life, and they were the people who I looked at and said, that's who I want to be when I grow up. I don't know if anybody looks at me and says that's who I want to be when they grow up, but I definitely want to be there for people and be there to provide the support that I knew was always there, and that I think is pretty unique when you think about across NCAA, that we have these people who are professionals in the field in which people are going to go into, who are there to also provide military mentorship.
Jeff, I think there's a lot of people.
I guarantee you
there's two at home for me,
yes,
right? So
for sure.
Okay, so Dean Darling asked you this 11 years ago. One day, will it be a General Rodriguez?
It should be next week. I mean, they ought to just bypass everything.
We're just lifting him on
just get
such
right
a
to
pedestal here.
I don't know.
What's the future?
If you ask General Gillen, he would say I might not make it to next week. So
Okay.
I'm just trying to take it one day at a time.
So Coach is saying General next week. Andrew's not sure there's going to be a next week. So, hey, we appreciate it. Thanks so much for being a part of Army football, coming on the show, and really, it's folks like you that make, it's about everything's about people, right? And it's people like you make this program what it is. So thank you for coming by.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Rich. Looking forward to beating the Eagles on Saturday.
Yep.
A-Rod, Major Andrew Rodriguez, joining us here on This Week in Army Football. Before we step aside, we got our second trivia question. We'll have it with A-Rod up here. Okay, second trivia question. Ryan Panny's going to put up the... You're going to put it up? The QR code? Okay, QR code is up. Okay. Major Andrew Rodriguez is one of only 2 athletes to win both the Sullivan Award and the Campbell Trophy in the same year. Who was the other person? Do you know that?
I think I do know
Yeah, you
that.
can't say it, but we were asked. Okay, so it's a good question. And actually, this other person was in the news in the past couple of weeks for an accomplishment that they've had in their academic and football life. That's the hint I will give.
Okay.
So QR code, A-Rod, one of two to win the Campbell and the Sullivan in the same year. Who is the other?
I'm 0 for 2, Rich. I don't know that one either.
This is a good one. This is one of like this is a good one. That's a good question. It's a really good question. Okay, up next, we got 30 minutes of your questions for Army head coach Jeff Monken about Army and Boston College coming up on Saturday at noon. Kick time from Mikey Stadium. We're back at the First E Club in a moment. This week at Army football on the Army Sports Network from Learfield.
When pain wants to keep you on the sidelines, know you have options to keep you doing what you love. As one of the world's leading medical technology companies, Stryker offers innovative foot and ankle products that help you get back in the game and on your feet. Stryker and Army West Point Athletics have joined forces to help you learn more about foot and ankle pain and provide you resources so you can find a specialist in your area. Visit Stryker.com/WestPoint to learn more.
So yeah, USAA, they always have my back.
USAA? You were in the military?
Oh no, I wasn't, but my grandpa was. He joined USAA, passed membership to my mom, then to me.
There's other ways to get in?
Yeah. My neighbor Ron, he's in because his wife served. Even little Luna, once she's born, her dad served.
So all this time I could have had USAA insurance.
And banking.
Where's my phone?
Over there.
USAA, for the military community and their families.
October 21st, 2017, Army hosted Temple.
For Army 5-2, they get this win today. They're bowl eligible in back-to-back years for the first time in over 30 years.
Quarterback Ahmad Bradshaw operated the Black Knights' triple option offense to nearly 250 yards on the ground, with fullback Darnell Woolfolk scoring 3 times in what was a back-and-forth affair. However, a touchdown by Temple's Raquel Armstead with 1 minute 38 seconds remaining put the Owls in front, 28-21. Kelvin Hopkins was then summoned from the Army bench to execute a 2-minute offense. Hopkins proceeded to complete 5 passes, driving Army 79 yards with a toss to Jermaine Adams with 1 second remaining, sending the game to overtime.
Kelvin Hopkins delivers, so does Jermaine Adams.
In the extra session, Blake Wilson put Army ahead by 3. And when Temple missed a field goal on its ensuing drive, the Black Knights came away with an improbable come-from-behind victory and secured a spot in a bowl game for the 2nd straight year.
Audience ready in 5, 4, 3.
And welcome back to the Cadet First Class Club. This week in Army football, brought to you by West Point Family and MWR. FMWR offers horse sporting, golfing, skiing, catering, camping, many more activities and programs. Visit westpoint.armymwr.com for more information. Jeff, sad news on a couple of fronts. We're just coming across in the last hour or so. Legendary Chicago Bears linebacker Dick Butkus passing away at the age of 80. I know Jeff is a lifelong Chicago Bears fan. Got to be someone you look up to.
That guy was a great player, and anybody that played against him said he was the meanest, toughest player in the league. And you watch him play, and he backs it up. What a great player, and just a tremendous ambassador for the city of Chicago, which isn't my hometown, but I claim it as such. Cheering for all the teams growing up there. So sad to hear about Dick Butkus.
And also someone who had a major impact on your coaching career. You talked very fondly about your years at Hawaii. You talked about your relationship with Rich Ellerson, the Army coach who preceded you in Hawaii, the head coach of those Rainbow Warrior teams. Bob Wagner passing away this week.
So I had an unbelievable experience at the University of Hawaii, and but as you mentioned, Rich Ellerson was the defensive coordinator. Paul Johnson, who I worked for 13 years, was the offensive coordinator. But the head coach was Bob Wagner, and Bob was a Midwest guy. He's from Ohio. Actually went to Wittenberg, which is a Division III school in Ohio, Springfield, Ohio, or I guess Springfield, Ohio, right there in down in southeast Ohio. He was the head coach, and he didn't have any reason to hire me as a GA at 22 years old. But Buzz Preston, who was the receivers coach at the time, had some experience coaching in Illinois at Southern Illinois University, and got to know my dad and all my uncles through recruiting. And he approached Bob. I was a senior in college, and said, "Hey, there's this young guy out in Illinois who's a coach's kid and is looking for a GA position." And Bob Wagner just, for whatever reason, took a shot and said, "I'm going to hire you." And so I was able to go out there, and I had the experience of a lifetime. I'd always dreamed of being a college coach, and got to work for Coach Wagner. He was one of the most organized coaches I've ever been around, and I learned so much from him. Things that we still do in our program right now, every day in our program, I experienced with Coach Wagner. And I worked with a lot of other coaches and some outstanding coaches, and I've taken bits and pieces from all of them. But Coach had a great influence on me. He loved his players, loved football, and he, though he's from the state of Ohio, he loved the state of Hawaii, and that became his home. And he's revered over there. Won the first conference championship in school history. Won the first bowl, went to the first bowl game, and won the first bowl game in program history, and so he's truly an icon over there. And I was sad to hear that news. He passed away on Tuesday.
And I'm sure very proud of what you've accomplished here at Army.
Well, there's a lot of guys that came out of his coaching tree. So Coach Ellerson, Coach Johnson, Ken Niumatalolo, who was my counterpart at the other academy for so many years, and myself, and then other coaches that have gone on to have great careers and as both as head coaches and assistant coaches. But that one staff, with 1989, we were all on the staff together. 1989, 1990, all on the staff together. So Coach was fantastic, and he's going to be missed, and we certainly, we give our condolences to Gloria, his wife, and he's just a great guy, so he'll be missed.
No doubt about that. Well, we have 25 minutes on the show for your questions for Army head coach Jeff Monken. Corey, let's get him started. Facebook Live, or Facebook, put him in the comment section. And if you're here at the First Tee Club, go find Corey. Let's start with the questions.
All right, Coach. We got this question from Anthony John. He said, Coach, the weather is an 85% chance of rain on Saturday. In your experience, how much does the weather play a factor in game planning, both on the offensive and defensive sides of the ball?
Both teams have to play in the rain, and we're the U.S. Army. And as far as I know, the U.S. Army doesn't call anything off for weather. And it doesn't matter if it's rain, sleet, snow, wind, tremendous heat. Our guys are going to play, and our guys are going to be excited to go out there and battle. And so there's nothing we can really do about it. Oftentimes when that happens, you have to modify the game plan a little bit, maybe concentrate on doing some things more than others. But we don't have a rain game plan and a sunshine game plan. We got a game plan, and we feel like it's the best one that's going to give us a chance to win.
Jeff, from years and years of having an offense that runs the football, I take it the game plan or how the weather and the rain might affect you when you throw it a little bit more, maybe it's just a little bit more of a concern, I would think.
There is, but again, we want to run the football. We want to be good at stopping the run. I think that's where most games are won is by a team being able to run the ball more effectively than its opponent, and the percentages back that up. But when you throw the ball in the rain, you got to make sure it's a calculated high percentage throw. You don't you're not going to throw it where a guy is maybe as closely covered because it just there's other factors that come in play. The rain hitting them in the face, the slickness of the ball, the footing. So there's still going to be opportunities to throw it for Boston College and for us, and I think for both teams likely we just become more calculated about those throws.
Next question for Coach Monken.
All right, Coach, this one is from Kieran Morris. He said BC's QB ranks 26th in the country with being responsible for 78 points. How does the defense plan to respond?
He's a great player, very talented. He's their leading rusher, obviously their leading passer. He's got over 1,000 yards passing already. I think he's a really good player and very difficult to contain. Teams have tried, and he's still managed to get loose on them. And so, as I mentioned just in the previous comment about stopping the run, that's where it's got to start. We got to stop him from running the ball. We got to stop Boston College from running the football and trying to make them as much as possible a one-dimensional team. And it's not a different philosophy than anybody else has. That helps us win, and it helps other teams win football games. So he's a really good player. Obvious concerns there, but hopefully we'll do a good job of playing sound defense.
Thomas Castellanos, a converted wide receiver, transfer from UCF. And Jeff, just when you look back to BC's game last week, and you think of scary moments, and of course you had one against Syracuse with Andre Miller, an injury, and thankfully he's on the road to recovery. Same thing with Ryan O'Keefe, their star wide receiver. Those kind of moments, and in watching the BC game last week and seeing that, like, it was just so ironic. Like, it just brings everything back to where you're just playing a game out there.
It's a game. It's a fast, physical game, and you got young men who are very powerful, very strong, very fast, that are running into each other and really high-speed collisions, and they're very durable because they are strong and they are powerful, and they build an endurance to those hits. But sometimes guys get injured in this game, and it brings you back to the reality of these are young men that we care about and love, and we want them to have a great experience playing this game, and we want to keep them healthy so that they continue to play the game they love and obviously maintain their health for the short term and the long term.
And Andre Miller doing better.
He's doing great. He was back on campus in the wee hours of the morning following that game, and he's not going to play this weekend, but he is getting better, and our training staff and medical team's doing a great job of getting him back to 100%.
Amazing news. More of your questions for Army head coach Jeff Monken on This Week in Army Football when we come back in just a moment, right here on the Army Sports Network. We took the break. Did we take the break? We didn't take the break. We're going to do the question.
Oh, we're going to go. Okay.
We're going to do the trivia
question. Here we go.
Okay, I was about to go into break, but we're going to do the trivia question, right?
I'm ready for it. Maybe I'll get this one.
Okay. So, A-Rod talked about the plastic dividers, right? That was think back to COVID 2020, 2021. In 2020, due to the pandemic, the Army-Navy game was played at Michie Stadium. Prior to that, when was the last time, prior to 2020, the Army-Navy game was played at Michie?
I know that one.
I do know that one.
First one.
I'd say that was one everyone knew, I think, 3 years ago. Let's see how many people knew it now.
Yep.
Because we kind of beat it in. First time since. Okay, that's the question. Back with your questions for Coach Monken in just a moment, right here on the Army Sports Network from Learfield.
Lowers his shoulder and he's in for 6.
Sprint's about a brotherhood, and there's no other sport that can test how well a team is structured other than football. And to be able to go out with my brothers to play at the highest stakes and the highest stakes team environment we can represent means so much, means the world to me and this team.
Meet the Chevy ZR2 family. They'll never let you down. With features like DSSV dampers, MT tires, and an off-road performance display. When the going gets tough, it's a family you can count on. Introducing the Silverado, Colorado, and Silverado HD ZR2 family of trucks.
He may not turn out to be a black belt or play Carnegie Hall.
He'll take the chicken fingers.
But with the money you earn from your PenFed checking and savings accounts,
He's growing up. Look at him.
your goal of supporting his dreams will always be worth it.
I got it.
PenFed's got great rates for everyone.
And welcome back to the Cadet First Class Club. This week in Army football, would like to thank its restaurant and tavern partners, Brothers Barbecue and O'Toole's Pub. Check out the restaurant and tavern partners portion of GoArmyWestPoint.com for more information. Support those who support the Corps. Back on this week in Army football. And Jeff, it's got to feel good. Power 5 opponent at Michie Stadium. Doesn't happen too often. Team go back to that last time playing Boston College at Michie 2012. Trent Steelman wins it with a couple minutes left with a touchdown run. I think it's going to be a lot of excitement coming up on Saturday.
There is, and I think that's why we've got such a big crowd, and everybody recognizes the Power 5 teams, and certainly having an ACC team coming in here. We had Wake Forest in 21. We had Duke, who was in here a couple years before that.
Daniel Jones.
And a couple of times they've been in here. So it's an exciting opportunity for our players, certainly, and for our fans. And it's 2 Power 5 games in a row, and we've got 3 in a stretch of 4 games. So a challenging schedule, but a great opportunity for our guys.
How about the crowd here tonight? I mean, it's literally elbow to elbow. We have cadets.
It's packed, and they keep coming. The line keeps growing over there.
We have folks here for reunions.
The beer must be really good at this place because they are lined up for it.
I'm telling you, this crowd, this might be a record for us. I see folks taking like selfies of themselves with the crowd in the background, right? From our broadcast crew. This is an interesting one. Okay, Corey, more questions for Jeff Monken.
How's my headset look?
Outstanding.
And that's what she has to do.
I couldn't hear you guys. it's that popping in here.
That's a good thing. Let's keep them coming.
Yeah, keep more and more people.
All right, here we go. Sorry. All right, we've got this one from Dan Koch. He said, Coach, have you had a chance to check in at all with Andre Carter in his first year in the NFL?
I have. I try to keep in touch with those guys. Obviously, they got a job to do. I got a job to do, so it's not something daily. But I check in with him. He's having a great experience, and what's more is that the coaches up there, the staff, the organization, they love Andre Carter, and I think he's going to have a really good NFL career. He's been very productive for them, and obviously a rookie, so he's only going to get better. I think when he left us, I felt like he had a lot of upside and a lot of potential to improve, and I think they realized that too. So I'm happy for him and proud of him.
I've done some early Christmas shopping for someone I know very well. I bought an Andre Carter Vikings jersey.
Oh,
Christmas.
Rich, that was nice of you. I'll be looking forward to getting that for Christmas. Thank you.
I'll see if an adult small would fit. I'll tell you what, it's interesting. Kevin O'Connell, he used to do the color commentary on CBS Sports Network. Knows the West Point program. Ben Kotwika was on his way out there from Minnesota to Denver. So as you say it, that's really a great culture for Andre Carter to be in.
For sure. It's a great organization, and hopefully he'll continue to thrive there.
Corey, next question for Coach.
All right, Coach, this one is from Eric Smith. He said, Army has the fewest penalties in the country as of right now. Has being a disciplined team been a priority for you guys?
That's always a priority for us. So the penalties I want our guys to avoid are the foolish penalties. Lining up in the neutral zone, jumping off sides, false starts, having too many guys on the field, penalties that happen after the whistle. Those are all things that we can avoid. They're foolish penalties that can stop drives. There are aggressive penalties, guys just trying to make a play, and sometimes that happens. But we do try to remain disciplined. We teach our guys to play with as good of fundamentals as possible. Sometimes those break down, but I think playing good fundamental football helps us and keeps us from committing those fouls.
Jeff, never forget, it might have been one of our first conversations, maybe the first conversation we had, when you were introduced as head coach, December 2013, and there was an afternoon basketball game, and you were introduced on the court during like an afternoon basketball game, Christmas week, right? And came out at halftime, we had the headsets off during the break. Hey, what's the one thing, Rich, that Army football? I said, hey, got to stop calling timeouts out of timeouts, false starts, delay of games, those kinds of things. And that is exactly your cloth. I mean, because as I like to say, right, you'll say it's so hard for Army to win a game based on the talent level, right? You have no chance to win if you commit those kind of penalties. None.
It's hard to win a college football game, period. But when there is parity, you and the other team, or especially when the other team is physically superior, if you make those critical mistakes that you have complete control over, has nothing to do with the other team, you're really jeopardizing your opportunity to win. So we try to eliminate all of those and really make the other team beat us. And by not being penalized, that certainly helps that cause.
We have one more round of questions coming up on This Week in Army Football, but before we go to break, we're going to have our final trivia question number 4. It's like the fourth quarter warrior of questions, right? QR code on the screen. This Saturday's game is nearly sold out, leading to a large attendance. In which of these years did Michie Stadium have its record attendance of 42,765? Was it in 2003? Was it in 2011? Was it in 1984? Or was it in 1971?
I don't know when it was, but I wish we'd get that again. We got to strive for that. Everybody listening and everybody that comes to the games, bring a bunch of friends. We need 42,000. That's 4,000 over capacity. That's impressive. Awesome.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a great
put
question.
That number up, trying to get to that number. Okay, that's the question. QR code is up. Get involved. We'll get to the 4 answers on our final segment coming up on This Week in Army Football in just a moment, right here on the Army Sports Network from Learfield.
When pain wants to keep you on the sidelines, know you have options to keep you doing what you love. As one of the world's leading medical technology companies, Stryker offers innovative foot and ankle products that help you get back in the game and on your feet. Stryker and Army West Point Athletics have joined forces to help you learn more about foot and ankle pain and provide you resources so you can find a specialist in your area. Visit Stryker.com/WestPoint to learn more.
So yeah, USAA, they always have my back.
USAA? You were in the military?
Oh no, I wasn't, but my grandpa was. He joined USAA, passed membership to my mom, then to me.
There's other ways to get in?
Yeah. My neighbor Ron, he's in because his wife served. Even little Luna, once she's born, her dad served.
So all this time I could have had USAA insurance.
And banking.
Where's my phone?
Over there.
USAA, for the military community and their families.
October 21st, 2017, Army hosted Temple.
For Army 5-2, they get this win today. They're bowl eligible in back-to-back years for the first time in over 30 years.
Quarterback Ahmad Bradshaw operated the Black Knights' triple option offense to nearly 250 yards on the ground, with fullback Darnell Woolfolk scoring 3 times in what was a back-and-forth affair. However, a touchdown by Temple's Raquel Armstead with 1 minute 38 seconds remaining put the Owls in front, 28-21. Kelvin Hopkins was then summoned from the Army bench to execute a 2-minute offense. Hopkins proceeded to complete 5 passes, driving Army 79 yards with a toss to Jermaine Adams with 1 second remaining, sending the game to overtime.
Calvin Hopkins delivers, so does Jermaine Adams.
In the extra session, Blake Wilson put Army ahead by 3. And when Temple missed a field goal on its ensuing drive, the Black Knights came away with an improbable come-from-behind victory and secured a spot in a bowl game for the 2nd straight year. Welcome back one more time on This Week in Army Football. Just got a couple minutes left for questions, Coach.
All right, let's let them roll then. Here we go.
Hour goes by fast. Corey, what do we got?
All right, Coach, this one is from Ben Allen. I know you touched on this earlier about it's kind of nice having a bye week. He said, how does game prep change when there's a bye week? Do you only focus on the next opponent, or do you get a chance to look ahead a bit?
No, we get a chance to look ahead, and we have to. There's some opponents on our schedule coming up that maybe have some uniqueness to their defense or offense that we pay some attention to. Obviously, the focus is Boston College, but like preseason camp, it gives us a chance to dive into some other opponents.
And it'll be Troy coming up next week. We'll be back next Thursday for our next edition of This Week in Army Football. Corey, next question.
All right, Coach.
Try to go rapid fire here. I mean, we got time for 2 more.
All right. Then I'll save my fun one for last. So this one is from Kevin Ryan. He said, BC sacked UVA 6 times in their last game. Has protecting Daly been a focus at practice this week?
It's a focus all the time. We don't throw it a whole lot, but when we do, we want to make sure we complete the pass. We want to try to avoid a negative yardage play at all costs. If you have more negative yardage plays than your opponent, then you're jeopardizing your opportunity to win. So our offensive line coaches, Coach Vitti and Coach Drinkle, work every day on pass protection, blitz pickup, and so hopefully we'll be able to protect them.
One more question, Corey.
All right, Coach. So this one is from Corey Elich. And I know you don't watch the NFL, but I feel like it's hard to avoid. Taylor Swift is all over football right now. While her attendance at this Saturday's game is still up in the air, which celebrity would you most want to come watch a victory at Mikey?
Oh my gosh,
that's a great question.
That's a lot of pressure.
That's a great question.
Taylor Swift. I mean, everybody's talking about her. Why not get Taylor Swift here?
Great
Can we
answer.
send her an email or something? Maybe she'll show up.
Great answer.
I'm a Swiftie. I tell my kids I was a Swiftie when being a Swiftie wasn't cool.
How about that? The things you learn on This Week in Army Football. Hey, last week's winner in the trivia, Scott Geary. Congratulations. Let's go to our 4 answers, Jeff. Let's see if we can get them.
All right,
Ryan
here we
Patty
go.
didn't furnish me with the answers. So let's see. Number 1, who did Army beat in the first game at Mikey Stadium?
I'm interested in that.
St. Louis, the Billikens.
Oh.
Hey, they've had their moments in basketball.
How about St. Louis U? That's right.
SLU.
Played
Right.
a JV game there when I was a freshman at Milliken.
Andrew Rodriguez, one of 2 athletes to win both the Sullivan and Campbell trophies. Who's the other?
Give it to me.
John Yerschel, Penn State, who's now an MIT PhD
Brilliant.
mathematician. Okay, 2020 Army Navy at Mikey. When was the time before that?
1943.
Got it. This Saturday's game will be a great attendance. Record 42,765. 03, 11, 1984, 1971.
I don't know, but the one to beat that record needs to be 2023. Let's get them out
I'd like
there.
that 1971 Army beat Missouri. We'd like to thank Skyler, Jimmy, and Tony back at the station. Ryan Patty, our special guest, Major Andrew Rodriguez. For Corey Younghands, Army head coach Jeff Monken, Rich DeMarco saying so long on This Week in Army Football. Have a great night, everyone.